Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tamika and I'm one of the senior facilitators at Quest for Life. And I'm happy to be here today. So welcome to Quest Connect. This is a service that we offer once a month on the first Sunday of every month. And today is the 5th of December. So can't believe that we're getting so close to Christmas. It's only a couple of weeks to Christmas now. So I'm happy to be here with you today. I haven't done one of these Quest Connects for a while, and that's just been situational. You know, things have been on, and some of the other facilitators have put some beautiful sessions on. And what I wanted to talk a little bit about today was perhaps looking, because we're so close to Christmas, is perhaps looking at some of the joys and challenges of the Christmas period, because let's face it, there can be a few. Now, I just want to, if you're on and if you can let me know that you're hearing me and seeing me, I would appreciate that, because at this stage I can't see any comments or see that anybody's logged on here at this stage. So if you can do that, that would be great. Now, what I want to do, we're also going to get really practical today and give you some practical skills and strategies on how to be able to manage some of the stress and to connect with your joy at Christmas time, because this what it's meant to be about is around joy and connection. So as I said, this session happens once a month, first Sunday of the month for 1 hour, and what we do in these sessions is we reinforce the Quest teachings and philosophies. So today I'll be doing that in the talk. We're going to start with a little meditation, with a little coming to your senses, and I'll finish with a meditation as well, with a loving kindness meditation. So let's just take a little moment to come to our senses, to bring our energy to now. Many of us have been doing things. I've been out in the garden this morning, so it might be nice to bring my energy here. Okay, so I can see some. So frozen, does that mean you can't see me, Glenn? So I've got Glenn here, Janice and Sarah. So hopefully you can still see me. We'll keep on going. So let's just do that little coming to the senses. As I said, I've been out in the garden this morning preparing our property for when we have our family gathering next Saturday. We always have an early Christmas gathering because we've got such a large tribe. So it's starting to get in early and get the property looking good, so I'm not rushing around like a chook without a head on the day before or the morning of. So that's one of the things I want to talk to you a little bit about today, about how we can maybe get a little bit prepared so as we're more centered and more calm on the day as well. So let's just start with a little coming to the senses. Thanks, Glenn. It's all good now. That's good. So I'm going to close my eyes for this, just so as I can bring my energy here. Like I said, I've had a bit going on this morning. And I invite you to close your eyes, or you can even leave your eyes open for this practice. So allowing your eyes to close over gently, and allowing a couple of deeper, longer, slower breaths. And as you breathe out, just feel your body relax. You might want to drop the shoulders. As we give ourselves some space to take a pause in the busyness of the day, our life, and to drop in and allow the body to relax. And maybe right here, right now, you might like to give yourself permission to relax or let go 5% more. We can quite often carry tension in our body that can be out of our awareness. So perhaps the shoulders, the buttocks, the jaw. Maybe just doing a little scan down through the body and noticing any tension points. Breathing into that area and letting it soften, letting it go. And putting aside all the busyness of today, everything that's happened before now. Perhaps get a vision of seeing it drifting away like a distant shadow in the past. Just through your breath. You allow your focus, your awareness, your attention to come to this very moment, to right here, right now. quietening the mind, bringing it to the present. Generally does its thing and goes off into the future or starts ruminating in the past. So just through the breath, if the mind wanders, come back to the breath. And allowing that breath to be like an anchor, tethering you to the now. And bring your focus back to the present. And just tracking down through the body now to connect with the senses of your body. The body is always present. So firstly, connecting with what you can feel. Notice the contact points where your body is connecting with the surface beneath you. Or notice the way the chair supports the shape and the weight of your body. Noticing your feet in the shoes, the socks, or the bare feet on the floor. Perhaps becoming aware of where the clothing makes contact with your skin. As you allow yourself to connect with the sense of touch. And now tracking any sounds in the environment. And you might like to imagine that you have little microphones in both ears and your hearing can extend right out into the environment. Tracking one sound and then another. Might even be the lack of sounds if you're in a quiet environment. And then bringing it back to sounds within the room. Or even sounds within your own body. Your heartbeat. Your breathing. Maybe gurglings or rumbling in the tummy. And the sense of sight. If your eyes are closed or lowered gaze, what are you noticing when you take away the visual distractions? And you can connect with your inner world, your inner silence, your inner stillness, such a gift. Or if your eyes are opening, what are you seeing? And taking your focus now to the nostrils and the sense of smell. Just tracking any scents or aromas in the air. Or imagining a scent or an aroma, the smell of spring, nature, some home cooking. And just lastly, taking your focus to the mouth, the tongue, the cheeks, the lips, and noticing what you notice as far as the sense of taste is concerned. And just as you quieten your mind and come to your senses, connecting with all of the senses of your body. And just allowing a couple of deeper breaths now. Maybe getting a little bit of movement back into the body. Having a little bit of a stretch, like a cat stretches after a sleep. And if your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes and bring your energy back into the room. Okay, so that's, I'm feeling a lot calmer now. I hope you are. It's such a gift, and that little coming to your senses, it can be a formal meditation practice, or it can be a constant daily mindful practice that you can just dropping back in right here, right now, my feet on the ground. What can I hear? What can I see? And it allows you to bring yourself back, because we can find ourselves going off into the future or worrying about something that we've said, or shouldn't have said this, or what happened here. So we go back into a little bit of depression when we start to ruminate over things. So it's such a gift, and something that I know I personally do every moment of every waking moment, and Petrea does, and so does the Quest team. We all make it a constant practice to keep ourselves in good form. So today's topic, we're going to look at ways we can experience joy with the upcoming Christmas season. And given there could be potentially challenges, stress, or even some loneliness or sadness at this time of the year. So for some, it's not always a joyful experience. And I will speak to this later in this talk as well. But just to acknowledge that it's not always joyful for everybody, yeah? So before we begin, let's look at what's been happening globally, which of course impacts upon us at varying levels. Since the start of 2020, we've been coping with very unfamiliar, unprecedented challenges brought upon us by the virus, by the coronavirus, by the pandemic. And we've watched with fear and anxiety as this disease has spread from one country to another, from one continent to another, and most painfully, claiming hundreds and thousands of lives. So it feels like the world as we knew it has basically just tipped upside down. And we've had to find a way of being able to adjust, to find a new homeostasis in amongst all of this global challenge, which has, of course, impacted upon us at a personal level as well. So we do adapt, as individuals we do adapt, and many dramatic changes imposed upon us by the quarantine restrictions, the lockdowns, etc. And that's all been as a way to protect us as humans and to stop the spread of the virus. So we have adapted, but just to really acknowledge that it's been tough. It's been challenging times. And look, right here, right now, we here in Australia, we're currently back to a reasonable amount of normality, where we can gather again as families and get out into community. Sure, there's still some restrictions, but like I said, we tend to adapt. And of course, with this new strain showing up, this new strain of the virus, some of us are still hoping that the borders will be open for the Christmas season. So there's still a sense of not knowing. We're planning on going up to Queensland just after Christmas to see our daughter and son-in-law and the children and the grandsons. But of course, we're sitting with the unknown, because we don't know whether that's going to happen or not. So sometimes we just have to let go of the being in control of things, don't we? So having said that about families being able to come and gather, there is still an element of some division in families due to personal choices and restrictions for those who have stood firm on their beliefs. Now, I do want to frame up here that there's no right or wrong. However, it does seem to be causing divisions within families, friends, work colleagues, and communities, yeah? So this is probably something that we need to consider, with the Christmas period coming up as well. So here we are at a time when we have the opportunity, great, we've got the opportunity to celebrate Christmas. A time when families, we can come together, we can connect, we can celebrate, we can have fun, and we can experience joy. Yeah, great, huh? Well, it can be a joy, but it can also be a challenge, and I really wanted to talk about that as well. Because let's face it, some families can be tricky, especially when different personalities come together. So there can be that sense of like, how is this going to work? And then we find ourselves getting stressed or anxious around the potentials of what might happen on the day of the family gathering or the family holiday, whatever it is. So they do say that if you want to check out your spiritual growth, go spend some time with your family of origin, as invariably interacting with certain family members. You may find yourself suddenly feeling like an 8-year-old again or a 6-year-old again. And I just want to say that if you do find that, please know that you're not alone. Those early family relationships can be very, very powerful, and they have a way of pulling you back into relationship patterns, and they're often just dysfunctional ones as well. And this is especially common when family members who don't typically see much of each other during the rest of the year, and suddenly they're spending a significant amount of time together at this particular time of the year. And of course, when you add alcohol into the mix, invariably, we sort of consume too much alcohol, too much food on the day, you do get the predictable relative, maybe I'm just making this up, Uncle Joe or Auntie Joan, talking about things like politics or religion or the current situation with COVID, and bam, you find yourself in a nice after dinner conversation that basically has exploded into an industrial sized Christmas cracker. It can just go boom, and it can be out of control. So how to avoid such an unpleasant situation and see if we can make it into a joyful and peaceful day for you, or a joyful or peaceful experience. And I want to sort of say to you that, a lot of what I'm suggesting here, some of this can be out of control because we don't have any control what people are going to say or do. But just to be aware, that some people are predictable and it could potentially happen, yeah? So let's just go on and look at some of the ways that we can have this peaceful gathering, yeah? So one of the ways, as I said to you this morning, I've been out preparing the pool area for next Saturday when we have our family gathering together. Now, if I would have left that until Friday or even Saturday morning, I would have been probably like a chook with it, running around without a head. So I chose today to go out and do that today, and then I know that it's all clean and ready, and then I don't have to do too much before next Saturday. So as much as you can, see if you can be prepared before the day of the family gathering. Perhaps see if you can pre-cook as much food as possible and pop it into the freezer. And that way on Christmas Day, you're not spending the whole time in the kitchen, yeah? So, maybe you can preset the table the day or the night before. You put the plates out, the glasses out, all the Christmas decorations on the table, the extra trestle table, the extra chairs. You can have all that out the day before. So then on the morning, all you've got to do is get up and make yourself look wonderful and do a couple of last minute things as well. Because when you do this, you will feel less stressed and you'll definitely feel more centered on the day as well. So another thing that we can do is to delegate. So get different family members to bring some food, maybe to write a list of what's needed and determine who's bringing what. Who says that you have to provide and prepare everything yourself? The cost factor alone of that would be, quite onerous as well. And I recall I had a client many, many years ago who used to get very, very stressed at Christmas time. And she was a little bit of a perfectionist and liked to have everything done in a certain way. So she used to prepare and provide all of the food and all of the drink for all of the family. It was quite a big family from memory. As I said, it was a long time ago. So I remember seeing her after one Christmas, and she was really angry and upset. And apparently one of her auntie had said to her, "Oh, there's not much food this year." So that really annoyed her. Like, yes, let's get in contact with that anger there, because we worked on the anger and boundaries after that. And I'm pretty sure that things changed pretty much from that Christmas on, and it was a very different situation then for future Christmases. So delegate, see if you're able to get people to bring things, do things, and who says that you have to do everything, who you have to provide everything. Maybe get people to bring their own drink, that sort of thing, because financially, and I'll touch on the financial side of it a little bit later as well, but financially, this coronavirus is potentially, a few of us could be struggling this time of the year as well, so you don't have to do it all. So the other thing that I want to talk to you about is how to manage your own emotions and to be aware of your triggers. Now, here's the bad news. The bad news is that you are always going to get triggers. It can be a look, a tone, a comment, or even silence. So we're all humans, and we're all susceptible to emotional triggers. So I just going to, just as an offering, just be prepared. You know the potential triggers. You know the person who's going to trigger you. And if this happens, you can simply take some time out. Yeah? Who says you have to stay? You can leave the room, maybe go out and get some fresh air, go into the bathroom. Yeah? Take some time to bring yourself back to center, allow some space. Take some deep, long, slow breaths to ground yourself, to calm down and to regulate before you go back into the family space again. And I know we've touched on this on some of the other sessions, but I want to revisit that window of tolerance. So this is a fabulous model. Is we all have the capacity to regulate, be calm, be centered, and we have this area that we can stay within this window of tolerance. And I quite often like to use the metaphor of our room, the room that we're in currently. So with the ceiling being the top and the roof being the floor. So that's the window of tolerance. So when I'm being calm, centered and regulated, and I can basically be the witness to what's going on, metaphorically, I can stay within this room. Yeah, I can be regulated. So, but if you notice the triggers, if you know that somebody's going to throw a hook out or a barb or try and get you into some sort of debate or something like that, just, what happens in the body at that stage? Do you feel that your heart rate go up? Do you feel that, a lot of tension? So when you can feel yourself here getting triggered, sometimes what happens is we go into what we call hyperarousal, which is like when we sort of go up above the ceiling, like we spiral up. So we go into our anxiety. We might even feel ourselves having a panic attack, or we might go into fight or flight. And that can be quite reactional. Generally, when that happens, we can get into arguments. Yeah, we lose our center, we go up and we spiral up, go into fight or flight. And the other thing that can happen is we can spiral down. We might take something really personally and then start to think about things, and we can feel our mood going down. We might go into a bit of freeze, and we might start to withdraw. We might still look like we're present, but we're withdrawing within ourselves. Yeah. So just to watch that, see if you can metaphorically imagine, okay, so I'm feeling like I'm being triggered here by, Uncle Joe or Auntie Joan or Mum or Dad or your brother or sister, whoever. We have many, many relatives that can trigger us. And just notice if you're starting to feel a reaction in your body. Are you spiraling up? Are you going into fight or flight reactions? Or are you spiraling down? And can you do something different? Can you remove yourself, take yourself out of the situation, and then bring yourself back to center again by doing a little coming to the senses? You can even do it while you're sitting on the toilet, feeling your bottom on the toilet seat, so whatever works, feeling your feet on the floor. Okay, so right here, right now, I'm being triggered. Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? After all this time, I'm still being triggered by this, yeah? And just start to speak to yourself lovingly like you were that beloved child. I'm just seeing here if we've got any more comments here. Okay. Just start to speak to yourself like you were that beloved child. And the other thing I want to do is just to remind you not to, or be conscious of not taking the bait or the hooks, because sometimes family members might throw out a sarcastic barb or a comment, and it's like they throw out the fishing line. Now, if you know that person well, they're very predictable, they're consistent themselves. See if you can take that breath and not take the bait. Don't grab onto it, yeah? So one way that Patria says of managing tricky people or relatives is to say to yourself, and I'll just use, it could be mum or dad. For the sake of this exercise, I'm just going to use mum as an example. So if mum is consistently herself and you know that she's going to say something that's going to trigger you, so perhaps you can just take that breath and just look at mum with as much love as you can possibly muster and just go, oh, look, there's mum doing mum. Oh, there she is. She's doing it again. If I want mum to be any different, I'm going to suffer. Ah, there she is. That's just mum doing mum again. Yeah? So you do say that to yourself, not out loud because people will think you're crazy, but just say it to yourself, and it just gives you a little bit of way of distancing yourself from the person, the situation, and again, just bringing yourself back to you. And then you might want to excuse yourself and go into the kitchen and, prepare something else that you have to get ready for the table, but to give yourself some space there as well. So watch the triggers, manage the triggers, see if you can stay within that window of tolerance, stay within the room. And if you can't, if you find that you are getting reactional, remove yourself, take yourself away, lovingly attend to yourself, speak to yourself like you were a child, notice it, allow it, acknowledge it, accept the feelings, the emotions, and then speak to yourself lovingly like you were a child, then go back into the situation. You'll find that it will be much easier, and there might not be, you'll avoid an argument as well. So look, as much as you can, and ideally, if we can avoid certain topics of conversation around the Christmas dinner table, great. Now, of course, this potentially, as I said, is out of your control. But things like politics can be a classic conversation minefield, and or religion. And there's also other, no-go zones in particular families. Perhaps, as I said, in this situation here, it could be something around choice, personal choice at the moment as well. So if you know that this is going to happen, or it does happen within your family, maybe get a little bit cluey here or smart here and see if you can make some sort of diversions. Now, they do this with children. If a child is going into having a tantrum and they're going to ramp it up, what we do with the child is we have a diversion tactic in place. Oh, look at that. Oh, did you see that? Look at this over here. Or how about we go and get such and such? So we divert the child's attention. So I'm going to suggest here that we do have a little diversion tactic in place. So you might want to come prepared now and bring some joy and fun into the picture. So have that little circuit breaker. Now, one thing that we're going to experiment with this year is a version of Pass the Parcel. And I did this with my fortnightly therapy group ladies at our Christmas gathering the other night, and it was just wonderful. It was so much fun. So what you do is you get a large soft ball, and you set it up by saying something like, okay, everybody, so time for some fun here now. Let's have a little circuit breaker. What we're going to do is we're going to throw the ball around to each other, and when the music stops, the person holding the ball has to tell a funny story, a joke, sing a song, or do a dance. Yeah? And probably the family will go, oh, no, we're not doing that. Come on, just give it a go. Let's have some fun. And let's face it, we all have funny stories, family stories that we can share, funny travel stories. I remember when you did such and such, or what about Uncle Joe when he did this? We can get into funny stories around sharing that with the family. If you get stuck, you can maybe pre-print a list of jokes off and have printed jokes there on a bit of paper there that people can access if they want to. Yeah. And so it's a great circuit breaker, bringing in some fun and laughter to the gathering. And of course, you can include the children in this as well. They'll have a great time. So as I said, we're going to give that a go this year. It'll probably be another ritual that I'll bring in where they'll go, oh, Mum, do we have to? And I'm sure they'll do it, and we will have some fun. And I'm really looking forward to doing it this year. I've already spoken to my little grandson about it, so it'll be great. So how are we going here? So we've still got, I think I've spoken about this before. I tend not to get the comments through, as you write them. So I've got that little bit of delay. So if I'm not getting back to you with the comments that you've put in, that's the reason why. And I also don't get to see all the little love hearts and thumbs up that you see. So sometimes I feel like I'm on an island, but I can see here that people are logged on. So that's fantastic. So let's just keep on diving on. I've got some other, wonderful strategies and techniques here to hopefully make your day a little bit more peaceful. I do want to talk a little bit about food, and talking a bit about how you might be able to pace yourself with food as well, because, gosh, we have so much food just for this one day. And generally there can be a sense of overeating. We might start early in the morning. The alcohol can sometimes start early in the morning with some, bubbly and breakfast. And then we have lunch, and then you might go to another person's place and you have more food. So towards or after lunch, you can feel quite bloated, sluggish, full, tired. And then later on, you might be feeling guilty about everything that you've had to eat. So see if you can be more mindful of what you're eating, and just small grazing throughout the day, small amounts. And remember that it is okay to leave some food on the plate. When I was growing up, I had to eat everything on the plate because the children in Africa were starving. And I had a lot of work with counsellors around that, like it's okay to leave food on the plate. You don't have to eat everything. And it's okay to say no. So again, challenging some of those early beliefs that perhaps you've taken on from the family, remembering that the family is going to be there at Christmas as well. So I did talk a little bit about alcohol before. Let's just be mindful of the alcohol consumption. It's really no secret here that alcohol decreases inhibitions and increases impulsivity. So therefore it's much more likely that someone will say something offensive, or things could escalate into an argument while they're under the influence. So you might want to put some sparkling mineral water out, a big jug of iced lemon water, and some cups or on the table, so then they can stay hydrated during the day. So with the glasses, the jugs, the mineral water, if that doesn't work, you could always bring the tea and coffee out early to try and have a little bit of a break in there as well. So again, not being prescriptive here, but these are just offerings, the things that you might be able to try, particularly if you know that there's a lot of heavy drinkers that are going to come along to your family gathering. The good news is that a lot of people have to watch what they drink now, because if they're driving, and if some people have a designated driver, or they could even stay the night, and then they might have more to drink. So and that can be fun as well. I mean, it's not always challenging. You can have some fun times with it, but just to be mindful of how much you drink as well. And then you're going to be able to stay fully present during the day, the whole day. So the other thing I want to say to you is really try not to sweat the small stuff here. If your house is messy, you've got wrapping paper everywhere, toys everywhere, the kitchen's a mess, and it's your nature to be tidy or to have everything in a perfect order, perhaps, take a breath here and see if you can lower the perfectionist bar a little bit, yeah? It won't go away. It'll still be there later in the day. It'll still be there tomorrow. So maybe it's more important for you to take some time connecting with family on the day and having fun with the kids and the grandchildren. And I remember I had to take a breath and do that last year. We had all the grandchildren up, and in my office here I have a box of toys that I use with clients. So sometimes clients will pick a certain object to represent a family member, a bit of constellation work. So I've got this big box of toys. So the kids, my grandkids, come down and got this big box. I mean, they had heaps of toys that they got for Christmas, but they come down and get my box of toys and took it upstairs into the lounge room and just upended the whole thing. And I can remember just looking at it going, okay, right, taking a breath, and just had to walk away. And it didn't matter, I just cleaned it up. I cleaned it up later. The children had fun with the copious amounts of toys and my therapy toys as well. And they always do when they come. That's what they do. They love going and play with it. And sometimes what happens with them, I get them to actually pick out objects, that represent Mummy and Daddy and Nenny and Genga. And we have a little bit of fun with that as well. It's good to see some of the things that they pick out for the different family members. It tells you a lot of information. Now, I do want to say that one of the ways that we can have joy and peace through this festive season is to connect with our gratitude. Many people do not have the gift of family, and I will speak to this shortly. So the tricky family that you have, as tricky as they may be, perhaps if you can just take a moment to drop in and connect with your sense of gratitude and appreciation, that you do have family that you are connecting with on the day. Yeah. That, yes, so see if you can, some semblance of gratitude is a wonderful way to be able to access peace and joy. Our family, we've got another ritual that we do at our dinner. We've got quite a large family, and when we all come together, rather than saying grace, we go around the table and we say what we're grateful for. And when I first started this many years ago, I had a bit of pushback from the family, like, oh, Mum, really, do we have to do this? And anyway, we did it, and they all love it now, and it's become a ritual now. And we just go around and say one thing that we're grateful for. And I remember one year I was a little bit frazzled and getting food ready for a big family. And I sat down and just finally sat down, and everybody had started to eat, and I forgot to do the grateful. And my eldest grandson, who's 9 now, he probably would have been about 4 at the time, he goes, oh, Nenny, you forgot that love thing. You forgot that love thing. So I said, yes, we did, darling. let's do it now. So the children love it. They really get a lot out of it, and it teaches them to be able to connect with their gratitude as well. So see if you might want to start to bring about some sort of ritual for yourself and for your family as well. So the other ritual that we have in our Christmas, and I just started this up, was it last year or the year before, I can't remember, is that we get our grandchildren to put on a little talent show. And it brings so much joy and laughter. It's just incredible. And our grandchildren love to perform. They'll either do some dancing or some singing. One little grandson last year did a magic show. And of course the parents get involved with costumes and preparing them for their little talent thing that they're putting on as well. And we put up a sheet, which is a curtain, and we have it sort of set out like a little stage, and we get somebody that introduces the children, and they all get a little gift at the end, like some chocolates or something like that. So the kids absolutely adore it, and we get so much joy out of it as well. So it may not be for you, it may not be something that you like, but if that's something that might work, perhaps it's something, a little ritual that you might consider. And kids love to get up and present, particularly if they've done things like dancing or gymnastics. It's an opportunity for them to be able to get up and show the adults what they've been doing. It also increases their confidence, because we give them lots of like, yay, aren't you great? And they absolutely love it as well. Now, I did touch on earlier in this session here about sorrow and grief and loss. So right here, right now, I want to frame up and just to revisit the fact that Christmas can be a time of sorrow, where you may get triggered around loved ones not being present. So grief and loss could surface as you remember all the fun times that perhaps the deceased person used to bring to the family and to the gatherings. And there could also be feelings of guilt. How can I possibly have joy when the person that I've loved is not here anymore? So how to manage this? Well, often when people pass away, generally people don't speak about it. They might not mention the person's name, because if they do, you might cry. And then if you cry, what are they going to do with you? They don't really know what to do with your sorrow or your grief. So if this is what's happening for you, I think it's important to be able to give some space to be able to honour the person that has passed or is no longer with you. So perhaps by using the I notice, I imagine, I feel, and what I need, that's Patria's little formula of being able to talk about noticing what's happening and imagining what's happening for the other. You're talking about how you're feeling, and then more importantly, you're talking about what you need, yeah? So I notice, I imagine, I feel, and what I need is. So it could be something like, and this is just an example, I notice that when I mention, mum or dad, whoever's passed, you change the subject. Or I notice we never talk about mum or dad. And I imagine this is just as hard for you as what it is for me. Yeah. However, I feel sad, and what I really would like to be able to do is to bring him or her in and talk about some of the memories and the good times that we used to have. Yeah. So you're really being clear there around talking about what you're feeling and having a crack at empathy, what you're noticing, but more importantly about what you would like to happen. So you can have the conversation where you can voice how you'd like to be able to bring up the memories of the deceased person, to use his or her name and bring in some of the funny stories we discussed before. Remember the time when, yeah? And it's still going to be sad. Of course, they're not here. But it's also good to be able to honour their memory as well. And it's not really about making it into a memorial day, but it can be a day when you bring the person in energetically that's no longer with you in here physically, but you can bring their memory into the room, yeah, energetically as well. So being alone, I also want to acknowledge those people who find Christmas challenging because they're on their own. You may not have family here in this country, or your family could be past, or even you might not have any great amount of friends that you can connect with. You might not feel that you want to trouble friends because they've got their own families. So, or you might feel that you don't want to celebrate. You could be feeling quite lonely or sad or even depressed. And it can be a difficult and an emotional period on any day. But when there's such an emphasis on this one day, it may have you feeling even more depressed or lonely or sad, yeah? So if this is the case for you, I'm just going to invite you as an offering, perhaps this year you could do something different, yeah? Maybe it's the year that you might want to reach out. And if you don't have any friends that you feel safe with, to do that, because invariably when you reach out to somebody else, you might say, hey, I'm going to be alone at Christmas time. Would you mind if I pop over? There's always the chance that the person may say no, and then might spiral you down more. So be prepared. If you're going to put yourself out there, be prepared for the worst case scenario. But generally people come from good hearts. Generally people will sort of say, sure, come over and have breakfast with us. Come over and watch the children open up their presents, you know? So it can feel a bit scary to put yourself out there to do something different. So you might want to reach out, see if you can connect. Or there's lots of charitable organisations that offer Christmas lunches. So you might gently give yourself a bit of a nudge to connect with others in that way, to get out. As I said, call a friend and just ask for some support. I know it's scary because sometimes we put on a good face. Yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine. But then internally we're really struggling at a really deep level. And if that's you, just as an offering to see what you can do to be able to get yourself some support here, and maybe to call Lifeline or connect with a therapist if you can. So I really want to acknowledge those people that are on their own, yeah, and see if you can find a way. And also, if you know somebody that's going to be alone, if you know somebody that's going to be perhaps dropping into their sadness because they don't have any family or a great deal of friends, you might like to invite them over. It could be an elderly neighbour that's on their own. You might like to invite them in for afternoon drinks or tea or coffee, or let them come in when the children are opening their presents. The joy of giving at Christmas is incredible. I'm just seeing if I've got any more comments here. No, it's still not happening, so that's okay. All right, now the joy of giving, I do want to talk a little bit about volunteering. It's a wonderful way of giving back to others, to your community and to yourself. And that's right, to yourself. Petrea often says that one of the ways of disconnecting from your own suffering is to support others in need, because it takes you out of your own misery. Sometimes when we've got a lot going on, it's like we have this black cloud over our head and we can't see beyond the black cloud. And when we can come out of that and start to lovingly give to somebody else, it seems to take away our own misery, our own suffering. And it is such a gift that you can offer to be able to support others as well. So finding a way of being able to give back, to support others, and even that, inviting somebody that's lonely around, that's also a way of giving back as well. Now, I did mention a little bit before about the financial stress, the financial strain that we can experience this time of the year. So it can be a challenge. And also I do want to say that with the virus and the lockdowns, many families have lost work, they've been out of jobs and maybe struggling to keep their head above the water. So just as an offering or an invitation here, don't let Christmas drown you. Yeah? Don't let Christmas drown you. So the joy of Christmas is about connection, joy, celebration. So it's not necessarily about the presents. Yeah? It's more about your presence, not presents. And then naturally, if you've got children, sure, you're going to want to get them some gifts. But it doesn't have to be hundreds of dollars. I actually went into Vinnie's the other day. I was looking for a leopard skin shirt and a leopard skin blouse because we've got a dress-up party that we're going to in January. And just having a bit of a look around in there. And whilst I was in there, I saw a big bag of Duplo blocks. And it was $12 for this massive big bag, you know, just like new. So I purchased them for when the grandchildren come up. So pre-loved toys are affordable and children get just as much joy from them. They're not to know. Yeah, they don't need to know. And there's also many local charities at Christmas that have hampers and toys that they provide if you're registered with them. So nobody's going to judge you or nobody's going to know. It is difficult times right now. And, you know, to challenge ourselves to do something different here. So reaching out is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of the times and what is occurring globally, which is impacting upon us personally. So if you are struggling in some way, it doesn't have to be the great big grand sweeping expensive Christmas. You know, bring it back, chunk it back to doing something that's more affordable. And as I said, with the food, delegate, get people to bring things so all the cost is not on you as well. So I hope that what we've covered and what we've spoken about today is going to be able to support you to be able to find some joy and peace over this Christmas period, and perhaps to allow you to overcome some of the potential stress and challenges that invariably pop their head up over the Christmas period as well. So I'm going to give you a poem here to finish, and then we'll finish with that meditation as well. And I found this poem and I really liked it because so much emphasis is on the one day, the 25th of December. Now, rather than having all of our children come together on Christmas Day, on the 25th of December, like I said, we do ours early before Christmas, because on Christmas, you know, our children are all grown, they've got their own children, so they want to have time with their families on Christmas Day. So rather than getting everybody to sort of travel around and go here, go there, so perhaps look at how you can have it early or even later, maybe Boxing Day, whatever works for you. And so you can celebrate Christmas on a day. It doesn't have to be the day. And I found this poem and I really liked it. It's called A Recipe for Christmas All Year Long. Because why can't we have some of this potential joy and peace all year long rather than just on the day? So this is a poem by Joanna Fuchs, and I hope I pronounced that right. So it says, take a heap of childlike wonder that opens up our eyes to the unexpected gifts in life, each day a sweet surprise. Mix in fond appreciation for the people whom we know. Like festive Christmas candles, each one has a special glow. Add some giggles and some laughter, a dash of Christmas food. Amazing how a piece of pie improves our attitude. Stir it all up with human kindness, wrap it in love and peace. Decorate with optimism, and our joy will never cease. If we use this healthy recipe, we know we will remember to be in the Christmas spirit even when it's not December. Isn't that beautiful? It doesn't have to be December. We can have a gathering, we can have a celebration anytime every day to connect with your gratitude, with your joy, with your peace as well. So let's finish with a meditation. So I've got a comment here now. So Jeanette, thank you. I'm finally getting some comments through here now. So I find the most challenging thing about Christmas, people's alone, unspoken consumption, something wrong, shameful. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for those lovely comments there, Jeanette. It's beautiful. Simple kindness, absolutely. Kindness is just such a gift that we can give to others and to ourselves as well. So let's just finish here with a loving kindness meditation. And then I've just got a little Christmas to-do list for you to finish off as well. So here I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and bring your focus back to you again. And we can do that by the breath. Maybe allowing that deeper, longer, slower breath, and feel the body relax and soften. This is being open to connecting again with the senses, just dropping in, lovingly attending to yourself, quietening the mind. And just following that gentle flow of the breath, the gentle inhalation and the exhalation. And if the mind wanders, just bring your focus back to the breath or to the sound of my voice. And just sending some loving kindness out to others. So perhaps to think of a loved one, family member, members, and just sending out well wishes to them. Just get an image of them in your mind's eye. And from your heart to their hearts, just sending out well wishes. Perhaps something like, may you be well, may you be happy, may you find peace and joy. So sending that love out, the peace, the joy, the well wishes out to somebody that you love within your family. And now extending those love and well wishes out to people in your community, perhaps even to people that you don't know. Just imagine you're extending it out into your suburb, your town, your community. May you be well, may you be happy, may you have peace and joy. And maybe extending those well wishes out to a person that you find challenging. Maybe that tricky person that you know may trigger you at Christmas. And let's just offer them, may you be well, may you be happy, may you find peace and joy. And extending those well wishes out further, out to the state, to the country that you're in. And extending it right out globally. May you be well and may you be happy. May you find peace. May you find joy. Extending those well wishes from your heart out to all living beings. Many people are suffering. May you be well. May you be happy. May you find peace and joy. Taking a moment in silence to really sit with that, extending those wishes from your heart out to many. And then bringing those well wishes back to you. You might even like to place your hand on your heart center. Just bringing it back to you and wishing yourself well. May I be well. May I be happy. May I experience peace. May I experience joy. May I be well. May I be happy. May I experience peace and joy. And just imagine yourself here breathing in and out through your heart center. Maybe just imagining the heart is like a flower. And on the inhalation, you get a sense of the petals of the flower opening and expanding. And on the exhalation, just gently closing. So breathing in and out through the heart center. May I be well. May I be happy. May I experience peace and joy. And perhaps while we're here, just get a vision in your mind's eye of you being in this peaceful place when you have your Christmas gathering, feeling centered and calm, prepared within that window of tolerance, feeling regulated. Just visualizing it all working out beautifully. So much joy, laughter, peace. See yourself having a wonderful day as you connect with yourself, with your family, and with others. And having that clear image in your mind's eye. And bringing that image back with you, of you feeling centered, calm, regulated, and at peace. And connected with your joy, connected with your heart center. And allowing a couple of deeper breaths now, getting a bit of movement back into your body. Having a little bit of a stretch. And then when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes. So thank you so much for connecting with me today. It's been such a joy, and I do hope that some of what we've talked about is going to give you some skills, strategies and techniques on how to deal with potential challenges. Yeah. And what I'm going to leave you with is a Christmas to-do list. I saw this on social media the other day and I thought, oh, this is just so prevalent, really. So rather than buy presents, be present. Be right here, right now. And that's that, taking that deep breath, taking that one breath and giving yourself some space. So rather than buy presents, be present. It's not necessarily about the gifts. Rather than wrapping gifts, wrap someone in hugs. And we can hug now, which is such a gift. We couldn't hug there for a little while. So wrap someone in hugs. Rather than sending gifts, send peace, which is a bit like we did with that loving kindness meditation. Rather than sending gifts, send peace. Send out those well wishes. Rather than shop for food, donate food. As we talked about, some people might be struggling financially. So if you are in a situation where you have the capacity to be able to buy a little bit extra and put it into one of the charities, I'm sure that somebody will appreciate that gift. So rather than shop for food, donate food. And rather than see the lights, the many beautiful Christmas lights, you be the light. Yeah? You be centered, calm, well nourished, well looked after, and have your cup well filled up for the day So you're going to be in good form, in a good space to be able to lovingly attend to your family on the day. So you be the light, you be the centre there. So thank you so much, and I've really enjoyed the time, the connection with you all here today. And I do hope that you have a beautiful Christmas season, holiday, whatever, if you're at home. The other thing I just wanted to say as well, this is just sort of dropped in, so I just want to offer, if you're staying at home, have a staycation. We sometimes do that here, but for me, I pretend I'm on holidays here. Otherwise, I go into busyness of doing. So having a staycation, you don't necessarily need to go away to a place where you're going to be paying a lot of money. You can pretend that you're on holidays and go and have coffee down at the beach and go swimming and all that. And there begs the question, why do we have to wait to get for Christmas to do that? We can do that anytime. Make every moment of every day precious, because life is fragile. This one precious life that we've been given is so fragile. So let's just grasp every moment and connect with the gratitude around that as well. So do enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday here now, and I'm going to get out and have some relaxation time this afternoon out in the garden rather than working in the garden. So thank you, and Merry Christmas to you all.